Okay, now you can hear me. It works? Yay! Okay, so hello everyone. This has been a very eventful thing. We not only got a brand new camera, but apparently we're having sound issues. This is my first affiliate stream, so there's actually things down here where they have the uh, gold rings that you can start amassing. I can also now accept subs if you feel like giving me a sub. Never required, but deeply appreciated. Hello, Mrs. Nagatron and Nog. Hello, Badass Mama. Happy to see you all in stream here. And there's a few changes to talk about within my Discord. I now have a listing of stream equipment, and I list things like my um, electric skillet and my electric wok and blender that I use. And soon I will be listing these fun little things. They're absolutely amazing. They have two different shapes. They go from a sixth of a teaspoon to a tablespoon, including the all important half tablespoon. And yeah, they are. They're magnetic, so they cling to each other, which is pretty cool in and of itself. And they also came in with some add-ons that I thought were absolutely fascinating. Here is a drop. There's also a smidgen. There's a pinch and a dash, and the last one is a tad, which it actually lists as a quarter of a teaspoon. So it's really the same thing. An eighth of a teaspoon is a dash, and so on. The drop is a 64th. So those are interesting, and I will put the link for this because it's such a neat set for any kind of chef out there. Amazon. I got them from Amazon. So I will put the link in there for that. And um, to not further delay, tonight we're doing party food. And that means I am going to be making my raw eggnog, which personally I believe it has a better flavor than the cooked eggnog. The cooked eggnog, it kind of it blunts the egginess. Ad break. Okay, sorry. Hi, Nina. Are we still in an ad break? I don't know. Um, Nog, thank you very much for the bits. My very first bits. Okay. Uh, anyway, I think I think I'm back from ad break. Yes? I don't know, so if I am. Okay. All right. So tonight we're doing party food, which means I am making raw eggnog. Yay! There's the cheer. Thank you so much, Nog, for the bits. That's awesome. That's our very first bits. Um, Party food is raw eggnog, and it's I like it over the cooked eggnog because it has a more eggy flavor to it, which is kind of nice. It's also a lot easier to make because you don't have to cook it. Um, I will also be making two different party cheese balls. One of them is basically a shrimp cocktail ball, and the second one is something I almost never do. I'm handling pork. I'm making a ham and bacon cheese ball with mozzarella and cheddar cheese. And they're very yummy, very easy to make, and they make lovely things for bringing them to Christmas dinner, serving your guests if you're having a party, bringing to the office. And um, I'll put the link up after stream, okay? Um, all right. So the first thing we're going to do, because Mrs. Nog and Nogatron are on the other side of the country, and this is a difficult stream for them to handle. Oh shoot, I forgot to get my sweetener from over there. I have to hope my husband can reach it. I will start with the eggs while hopefully he gets me my sweetener. That was kind of dumb of me. It's the green box over there, honey. I'll praise my husband for his long, long legs. And I'm going to be using, that's my new toy he got me. It's a little Beanie Baby Boo it's a little pink unicorn. I'm going to be using stevia in the raw. It is a uh, very good non-sugar sweetener. Um, Low glycemic index. Hey, Vet, welcome in. And a Frumpy Grumpy. Welcome to you both. As I said, I'm doing party food tonight. I'm making two different cheese balls, and I am going to be making my raw eggnog first because, well, Mrs. Nog and Nogatron have an early type night, and it's very important that they get off on time so that everybody goes to bed on time. All right, so I am measuring out the milk at the moment. The first thing you need to do is start with eggs, and we use large eggs, not extra large, although extra large is awfully nice. Uh, and you take and crack them into your bowl of choice. This is very easily uh, multipliable so that you can take and make it halved or doubled. Generally, it's 1 egg per person. So this would be for 4 people. But if you use a big cup, it can very easily be for 2. Um, woo! Haven't put my thumb through an egg in a while. So this is 4 eggs. Oh, Vet, you subbed? Oh, thank you so much. I am so happy you did that. It wasn't necessary, but I am so happy that you did it. Um, Thank you so much. That's horribly sweet of you. uh, Sorry, needed to wipe the egg off my finger. I'm a little prissy that way. I don't like sticky fingers. And slimy ones are even worse. There is a third egg, and then we have got, I wouldn't do this really in anything less than a medium um, mixing bowl, because once it starts spinning around there, it uh, gets a little fluffy and it'll come up the sides. So the first thing you want to do is take your stick blender. Oh, thank you so much for the gift sub, Bet. That's so kind of you. Um, the first thing we want to do is mix these eggs, and you want to blend them until they turn slightly lighter. And that basically means that you've aerated the eggs. I'm going to flip my microphone up so nobody hears the loud, loud roar. As you can see with the stick blender, it did not take long to do that at all. I am going to put that here while I get out the stevia. Normally this would be, oh dear Lord, that was bad. I just flipped over my drink. Um, Hang on a moment while I mop that up. Normally I would be using a between a third of a cup of sugar and a half of a cup of sugar. I'd start with a third and build from there to see what amount of sweetness you want. Um, it's going to be the same with the stevia. They do come in containers that measure like sugar. I don't have that. So let me see. I am going to take and start with, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is good for 4, so I'm going to put in 8 packets. Now what you would do if this was sugar is you would blend this and continue to blend or whisk until you have dissolved the sugar. The good thing about the artificial sweeteners is um, they do tend to dissolve very quickly. It's very distracting. My husband's flipping things on my screen, so I can't actually see what's going on. There we go. Uh, a third to a half of a cup of sugar at this point. So the equivalent in your artificial sweetener. If you use packets like I've got here, I've allowed 2 per person, and this is theoretically for 4 people. So this will blend together quite quickly. Oops, sorry. Well, I'm keeping it on a low thing. I hope it's not too loud for you all. And that's blended up. And now I need another one of these. Unfortunately, I flipped most of my zero sugar soft drink over, but well, at least it won't be sticky. All right, so I've got that. And to that you want to measure, where's my cinnamon? All the way at the far end of the table. I am not going to be adding nutmeg to this that I usually would add because we're out of nutmeg. Now, I am going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon to this. And this is where it gets fun because you've got 2 different measures on this. They're both the same, and it can make it so it's very easy to get it into small jars, which is nice. And then just scrape it off there, and I'm going to add the cinnamon to it. And obviously, if you want to add more, you can add more. I always save to put a little bit of dusting on the top. And then I am going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla, because vanilla also, it's a sweet spice, so to speak. And hey, Glitter Kitten, welcome in. It's a sweet spice, so it also works in the place of sugar. So it helps make it a little extra sweet. And for those of you who, hey, Long Dark, welcome in. I am making raw eggnog and other party food. It will be cheese balls, something that went out of fashion in the 70s, which is really sad. My eggnog this time is being sweetened with stevia in the raw for Mr. and Mrs. Nog, and honestly for myself. I try to watch sugar as a diabetic. And So I have got 4 whole eggs in here. I have blended them up until they have aerated and turned a paler yellow. I put stevia in the raw in here. You would normally be putting in 1/3 of a cup to a 1/2 a cup of sugar, and then blending it until the sugar has completely dissolved, after which you add in the nutmeg and the cinnamon and the vanilla, and then you add in 2 cups of milk, and we add in the rest of our cream, or half and half in this case, which is actually just shy of a cup. And we will now blend that. Just going to combine. Is that too loud for everybody, or is it okay? So I have got this blending. It makes it a little foamy, which is always nice. And at this point, you're done. You take this, it's already all cold from the refrigerator, so you can serve it as is. You can also take and refrigerate this for a while before your party. You can put it in a sealed container and keep it for 3 days, maybe a little bit more, but let's be honest, most people are just going to make this and drink it. So that's what we're probably planning for. And I am going to take, and this is a horrible thing to do, I am going to very carefully take and pour this into my mug, because I'm going to be drinking this for the rest of the stream. And at this point, you would spike it if you want to. If you want to do non-alcoholic, you can do that with either rum or brandy or whiskey, bourbon, um, extracts, which they carry in the grocery stores. And it's a wonderful thing to do. Uh-oh, Jack Daniels. Yes, you can do that too. So, and I'm going to be really technical and stir it with my finger and give this a little taste. Oh, that is good. It is light and creamy. You can taste the egginess in it. You can taste the cinnamon. I am going to give it a little bit of a dusting on top because I love cinnamon in it. I do miss the eggnog, but theoretically, you would not be missing the eggnog. So I've got the extra cinnamon on there, and that's your eggnog. How easy was that? It was just blended up, stirring it with our finger. I did actually have a spoon over here, but I didn't think of that. So I'm going to have another sip. Mm, so good. And it is just slightly sweet at two sweetener packets per egg. So that will give you an estimate. You might like it a little sweeter than I do, but give it a try. Now I'm going to move on from the eggnog, and hopefully my husband will take the rest of the eggnog away before it ends up dumped. Hello, can everybody hear me? Am I dead? You hear me now? Okay. So we're going to start with the recipe for the shrimp one. And the best thing about the shrimp ball is it has lots of shrimp. If you like a shrimp cocktail, you're probably really going to enjoy this. Um, It's used as salad shrimp. You can use bigger if you'd like. I don't really see a point, but because they break up a little anyway, if you want to have bigger ones, that's perfectly fine. Need my, oh, where did it go? There it is. I need my paper towels because shrimp is always wet. It is either frozen or fresh, but most likely it's frozen, and that always leaves copious amounts of wetness. Need to move my eggnog out of the way. And this is 12 ounces of shrimp. I like to usually use a full pound, but uh, they weren't being kind to me, so they only had them in 12-ounce containers. And as you see, this is a pretty sizable amount of shrimp. It is almost a pound. And in this, you just put it in a paper towel and you gently press to get the excess wetness out. And something you want to do with any shrimp product, if you've got it already cooked, is you need to go through it and make sure that they have done a good job in removing the little whiskers and the little tails. And in shrimp this size, it's awfully hard to see it. But if you don't take the time to look, you can end up with little shrimp legs in your mouth or little whiskers or shell, and that's just not pleasant. Um, has a terrible texture. It's not going to hurt you to eat it. It's not like the big shrimp where you may have troubles um, on the exit, shall we say, because those shells are sharp. On these, um, they're going to be um, gentler than that, but not pleasant to chew on, not pleasant to feel in your mouth. So you want to check first, and it actually looks like they've done a really good job. Um, I don't see any leftover shells or legs. You mostly can find them because they've got little beige legs that stick out the bottom, and that's what you'll see if you've got the shells still on them. And it looks like they did a really good job. So that is good to know. All right, I'm going to remove those from my board for the moment and wipe it down because now it's shrimpy. And the next thing we're going to want to do is take cream cheese. Now I say to, let me double check what I have got in stream recipes here. For the shrimp ball, I've got half a pound of shallot shrimp. This is actually a double recipe. 8 ounces of cream cheese, a half a cup of walnuts, some cocktail sauce, some chipotle Tabasco sauce. I may be pronouncing that wrong. What that basically is a smoked jalapeno, and it adds a lovely smokiness without actual heat, especially when drowned in this much cream cheese. You want to allow the uh, cream cheese to come to a warmer temperature. I can make my own cream cheese. I'm being lazy, and I am going to continue as if this was a double recipe, so that what I've got is the equivalent of 2 blocks of cream cheese. That's 8 ounces each for 16 ounces. And I got it from Costco in a big tub, and it is a third of a container for each serving I've got here, which is easy enough to do when you have a spatula. Spatula is my favorite implement for the kitchen. It is a nice spoon. You can cook with it. You can scrape things down with it. It's a lovely, lovely thing, and I adore my spatula. So I am going to take my cream cheese and basically scoop out a rather unscientific but guesstimated 16 ounces of cream cheese, which I put in my next nice blue bowl. What you would want to do is allow this to become warm enough so that you can beat it with a spoon or a blender or a blender. Oh, okay. Glittered Kitten, thank you. Uh, yeah, you did move it to the last. Yes, this is really live. Let me see. Hi there, Redskin. How are you doing? Okay. Um, what you need to do is take and basically aerate this, and you can do it with not a blender, but a mixer. You could do it in a stand mixer if you had it. You could do it in a regular mixer that you have that you hold in your hand. Probably would have been a good option, but it's one more noisy implement, and I always used to do this with a spoon anyway, and it takes just a little bit to get it to loosen up. The advantage of using fresh, if you make fresh cream cheese, is it isn't in this form. It's already much softer, so um, I am going to just, now it's starting. What you need to do is mix it until it's a little fluffy. And I would not, by the way, try to save time and buy whipped cream cheese because it's a different measurement. Uh, I am doing good, Redskin. How are you doing? Yeah, store-bought cream cheese can be pretty bad, especially if you go for the no-fat version, which is actually a different cheese. That has a tendency to taste plasticky. There's things you can do to help that, but I'm not going to get into that in this stream. Um, as you can see, this is starting to look like frosting. I still need to get a little bit more air in here because what I need to do is actually mix my sweet little shrimpies into here. So I am going to continue to beat on this. Yeah, throw it away and get some good stuff. I mean, I've said it in Connor's stream and I'll say it again. You really don't want to skimp on the quality of your ingredients. The simpler the recipe, and this is pretty simple for both of these, you need to make sure that the quality stands out because there's not going to be anywhere to hide. There really isn't. So if you use a cheap cream cheese and it's nasty, it's going to taste nasty in what you cook, whether you're making frosting or a cheese ball, whatever you're going to do, put it on toast, whatever, you're going to taste the difference. So, you know, that extra 50 cents is really worth it. If you're going to buy it from Philadelphia. Um, it's just so not worth going cheap. It's really not. Um, if you have a disability to eat milk products like my mother does, um, you can get the tofu version of this, the uh, non-dairy. It's basically silken tofu, and it's a pretty good substitute if you don't have a choice. You can add in a little bit of non-dairy yogurt to give it the tang that cream cheese has, but it is possible for those people who can't have dairy to do this as well by just substituting those in. Uh, Obviously, 1-to-1 ratio. If you're using 16 ounces of cream cheese, you're going to want to use 16 ounces of cream cheese substitute. So now the next thing you want to add into this is going to be 2 tablespoons of cocktail sauce. And I am using Beaver cocktail sauce, which is a spicier cocktail sauce. They are best known for their horseradish. So I am going to start. That is 1 tablespoon, and I'm going to put in a little less than that because this has more horseradish in it than the one that I used to use. The time I came up with this recipe, I used to use a cocktail sauce from Zatarain's, and that was absolutely lovely. It was already smoky flavored, but I can't find it in stores anymore, and I can't find it online either, so I'm wondering if maybe they might have stopped making it, and that is definitely a possibility. I am now opening my new bottle of Tabasco, not a product we use in this house because nobody really likes spicy things, and I'm going to add in, that was probably about 3, has a bigger hole than the one I last had, so it didn't come out in drops. And back to Streamlabs so I can see you all. I'm sorry. I get excited. I am asthmatic, and it's not the best time of year for me. And when I get excited, I get a little puffy, especially when things have been going wrong. So it's sort of an emotional thing. Um, it's not the best. I can go into full asthma attacks if I get upset enough. Team Nog loves all things spicy, so add more of the chipotle to it. Then you're looking for sort of a pale pink color here, and the chipotle adds, like I said, that little bit of smokiness to it that's just really nice. So it's not really there to add heat. You certainly can if you wish, but it is actually here to provide the smoky flavor. And at this point, I'm going to switch to the spatula because I want to get this nicely mixed in, and the regular spoon can't really scrape down the sides very well. So I'm going to do that and then poke out the little other bit there, and I am going to get rid of that to the side. And now scrape this down with a spatula, which, as you can see, it does it much better than a spoon. So we can get all the little bits and put them in here. And then you just want to mix it until it's no longer looking like it's got pockets of liquid in there. I am going to, this is still a bit sticky, which is fine. I've got a gnat in here that is just driving me nuts. So if you see me waving, I'm waving at a gnat. Unless I'm going, hi! Spoonchula. I strongly recommend spoonchulas in many sizes and shapes for everybody. They are just the very Is it working again? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. I don't know why we're having trouble with equipment like this. We're using new software and it's just being difficult. 1 second, please. Okay, am I back? Can everybody hear me? Okay. My husband switched the batteries on my headset. So now I've added the shrimp, and it's a lot of shrimp for the cream cheese. This is not going to be something where it is primarily cream cheese. This is going to have a lot of shrimp in every bite, which makes it pretty popular, especially with the guys. Um, the women seem to like they're okay with having less meat in what they eat, but um, the guys are really in it for the meat. Let's just be honest here. If they're going to have an appetizer, for the most part, they're going to want to stuff meat in their mouth, and don't blame them. It's lovely. Um, this is a Feel free to ask any questions as I go along. I am trying to remember to keep my eyes on the text instead of just on what you can see to make sure you're seeing things. Eyes on chat. Absolutely. So you try to do this gently because you don't want to break your shrimp into, non-existent little unidentifiable lumps inside of your cream cheese. You want to make sure that this stays identifiable, as whole as possible. You could even add in, for instance, some medium shrimp in here and just give them a rough chop so you have some big chunks of shrimp. That's also something that's good. I have made this before with the large, medium to large shrimp, and the translation really wasn't that great. You do have to cut it up so it fits on crackers because you eat this with crackers, or you can do it with celery is good as well. You can do it with celery in there, and that tastes pretty nice. And this now needs to go on a fast trip to the freezer. Normally I would say refrigerate it for an hour before you try making a ball out of it. It's pretty sticky at this stage, but we're going to put it in the freezer for a few minutes. And while my husband does that, I'm going to take another sip of eggnog because it's good. All right. Now, for the next one I am doing, I am going to start it in this bowl because it really doesn't matter what shape it is. It's nice if it's a square or a round thing, but it's good in this too. So we will start by taking, here's a surprise, cream cheese. Oh, your eggnog is gone. Well, you know what? You can make more. I know you can. So we're going to take and start with wiping off my spatula, which still has cream cheese on it, but it has cream cheese that has cocktail sauce and the chipotle Tabasco in it, and we don't want that. So we are going to wipe that off, now that I have, mostly. We're going to get out the next third of a container of cream cheese. And plump that in there. Plunk. Yes, the sound effects were necessary. So we are going to now take and get out the other spoon because I need to repeat what I did. So for this you will take 2 blocks of cream cheese and set them on your counter for about an hour so they come to room temperature and you can work with them. And once you have done that, you will now have this basically. And we need to take and soften this. So I am softening this while the other is getting firmer so I can roll it up and put the coating on it. For the shrimp, that's going to be walnuts, and that's because I like walnuts over pecans. You can do it with pecans if you like. Um, that's just a nice crunch added to the creaminess of the cream cheese and the softness of the shrimp, because let's face it, there's nothing else in that that's really going to challenge you or add any kind of interest. And there's different kinds of things you want to put in your food. You don't want to have, unless you're eating pudding, and by that I mean the dairy treat that is cooked and is a dessert. It's not the English pudding, which is usually a steamed thing, has flour in it and all. Uh, unless you're talking about a pudding, you don't want to have something that's just soft. Um, Adding interest is more than just tastes, it's also textures. It's nice to have a little bit of crunch in things. It's nice to have different textures in your food because it's just not as boring. Um, take a few bites of something that's creamy and it's lovely and nice, and then after a little while it's just more. There's no actual interest in what's going on in there. So that's part of the reason why I try to add different textures and things like my stuffing that I do. I used to always follow my mother's directions and pre-cook, sweat down the onions and the celery, and then put them in stuffing that was going to be cooked in the oven. And what you had was everything in it was soft, except around the edges where it was a little crunchy, which was nice. But then you ask yourselves why that was nice. It's because it was crunchy. Had a little extra toastiness for the flavor, but it also had that crunch. So you are actually seeking texture. Now, this isn't quite whipped, but I'm going to stop here because I'm kind of huffing and I don't want to huff in your ears. So, at this point, I am going to put the ingredients in here that this calls for. So I'm switching back to my recipe. And this calls for 12 strips of thick cut bacon, 16 ounces of cream cheese, 8 ounces of baby Swiss cheese that's shredded. I'm substituting mozzarella because my husband hates the taste of Swiss. Um, Medium to mild cheddar cheese, 8 ounces of that as well. Shredded, 4 green onions, a quarter teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of dried parsley, and 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds. So I am going to take, and the first thing I'm adding to this is going to be the poppy seeds. And you can buy the poppy seeds in a fairly large bottle for not that bad of a price. And um, for those of you who may be worried, oh, I can't use poppy seeds because they, randomly drug test. Yeah, poppy seeds can be mistaken for other opium products, but chances are no. And you just tell them. I mean, I eat poppy seeds all the time. I did all my 30 years of being in engineering, and I never once had a drug test questioned. They don't even ask anymore if you've had anything like poppy seeds, where you would just tell them, I ate poppy seeds. And they would know that a small amount of what could be construed as an opium product, like codeine or whatever, is in your blood system, and they'll disregard it. Um, if someone questions it and you've been eating poppy seeds, you just tell them, I eat poppy seeds. So, not likely to get in trouble for that. So, I am going to add half of a teaspoon of poppy seeds to my cream cheese mixture, which is right there. Gives a lovely buggy black appearance to it. I'm going to add a little bit more because I like poppy seeds. Not that I'm going to be eating this. It has pork in it. I do not know what's going on. Oh, bye, Nogs. Good night, Mrs. Nogatron. Good night, Nog. Thank you so much for coming. That was awesome of you to come. I know you stayed up late just to do it. The next thing I'm going to add, it's 3 tablespoons of parsley. I am going to add 1 tablespoon to the inside, and we will be using the other tablespoon to coat the outside. So it's got a really pretty outside as well. That's half the fun of these things, is that you you make them pretty on the outside. What did I do with my lid? I don't see my lid. Okay, there we go. All right, so I've got those 2 things in here, and I'm going to give them a little bit of a mix. I am going to add a little bit of salt to this, not much, because uh, with ham and bacon in this, it's not going to need a lot. I added more ham to it. I added more pork product to it because, well, my father and my husband, who are the ones that are going to be eating this, they both really like that. So why not? Let's spoil them. It's Christmas. So the good thing about these cheese balls is you can make them a lot in advance. And for making them in advance, you can freeze them for up to 3 months and then just take them out and let them thaw. So I've got a sea salt grinder here, and I'm going to add a couple twists of sea salt to it, and then continue to mix this up so that it actually has the parsley and the uh, poppy seeds going through it. What question is there? Did you do the other cheese ball? I haven't yet completed it. I softened the cream cheese as I did with this one, and I added in a tablespoon and a half of my cocktail sauce to it, along with about 3 dashes of chipotle Tabasco. Mixed that in like I'm mixing this in. And then I added in the 12 ounces of shrimp that I had. And that is now chilling in the freezer while I do this one so that I can roll it into a ball, because this comes out very sticky, and as you can see, and that's just the way it is. So it's a sticky product, what can I say? Okay, so I've done that. It's mixed through, and I will want to get 4 of my green onions, also called scallions. And let me see. 1, 2. 3. And here is the 4th. And like I always say, always inspect your food as you're doing it. You want to take and strip off the outer leaf that may not be as nice as the inner leaves. And you just need to make sure that it doesn't need to have that stripped away. You want to make sure that your vegetables aren't droopy. This flexes a bit, but it's not droopy. So that means it's reasonably fresh and you're good to go on it. Hey Mel, welcome in. How about now? Am I back? Now am I back? Okay. Sorry about that. I don't know why we're having trouble. Um, so basically I have these 3 onions here, and you want to take, and they're picking up parsley and such from the table. You want to take and basically do a nice fine slice on these. Green onions are milder than your regular onion. They're not as mild as a sweet onion, but they're definitely prettier. And they go in certain recipes. Now, some recipes you would just want to dice up the onion portion, which is the lower pale portions. I also include some of the top, which is a nice green thing, and it has a slightly different flavor than the rest of the onion. So yeah, ours worked well until this time, Frumpy. I don't know what we're having sound problems for. I suspect it's something about enabling our sound alerts, um, because that's the only thing we did that was different. So I'm not going to dice the entire green onion, only about halfway up the dark green, because I just don't like using the ends of things. You can take those ends and set them aside and use them to make a stock later if you do stocks on a regular basis. And they add really nicely to, as long as there's nothing wrong with them, they're not slimy or wilted or, off looking. You can add them very easily to broths and stocks and soup bases that you're making. So you can also do that. If you have chickens, I know that chickens absolutely love these things, and happy chickens. So I've got 2 of them there. I'm going to throw away the extra, go on to the next 2. I probably could have done all 4 at once, but I just didn't want to. Now, if you were going to make a vegetable cream cheese, you would soften the cream cheese as I just did. You can add in some green onion here. You can put garlic in there. You can finely dice some bell pepper of any color, or red bell pepper. It looks absolutely stunning and is a little bit sweeter. So you can put the red bell pepper in with the green onion in your cream cheese, and it makes for a very festive, Christmassy type appearance with the green and the red. Add nuts in if you want. And put that in your refrigerator and let it sit for about an hour so the flavor gets through the cream cheese, and you can serve that in a nice bowl as an additional dip for crackers and crudité, vegetables chopped up basically to use instead of crackers, if you're watching your carbs. They do have some rather interesting crackers I've seen lately. Uh, they have some new crackers out there lately. I've seen almond flour crackers that are, I believe, gluten-free. They actually have protein in them because they're made from almonds. Not bad. They don't have the same light, crispy texture of a flour cracker, but may just be early days yet for them, so who knows. Now we will take these 4 onions and we will add it on here to the cream cheese. And now I get into the dangerous stuff. For me, I'm going to be handling pork, which means I will be washing my hands very well afterwards because I'm allergic to pork. And just does not make me happy at all. You had to had to redo everything, did you, Mel? Interesting. Let me know how that works. I am going to empty in the bacon that I cooked and chopped. And I've got it in a little baggie over here. I'm going to take this briefly off screen while I do that. And you know, I like bacon, so I love the smell of it. I love the taste of it. It hates me with a passion. So I've got 12 bacon strips there. And now I've also got some ham. And this is Black Forest ham. I think it has the nicest flavor aside from what you would get off of a bone-in ham. And this is a 1/4 pound of Black Forest ham from the deli. And sort of a not really thin slice, but not terribly thick either. And I'm just going to cut it up somewhat fine since it is going into a cheese ball. And so I'm going to make thin strips and then cut it the other way for a dice. And I will be mixing that in with the cheese ball, with the cream cheese that's in there, and the other cheese that I'm adding in, which is a mild cheddar and mozzarella. I should have thought this through. I didn't. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of bundle this up and turn it. Oh, Lily, thank you so much for the sub. That is so nice of you. Thank you so much. Welcome in. Glad to have you watching my stream. Glad to have you here. It's wonderful to see everybody that showed up. And we've got a lot of the crew from my friend Connor's stream. He is a UK streamer. Can someone give him a shout out, please, for the only deaf guy who is based in Cheltenham, England, which is part of, oh, I'm going to slaughter this, Gloucestershire. Anyway, um, that he streams 6 days a week live from his cafe. Oh, thank you so much, LD. That's amazing. You didn't have to do that, but thank you so much for the sub. we wow, I am just so happy. Thank you guys so much for this. You guys have all been just wonderful in the turnout and the support, and I am overwhelmed. Thank you so much, guys. Um, Now what you want to do is start mixing this together. And as I said before, this is not going to be a big ball of cream cheese, what you're eating. You're not going to have that taste. Oh, thank you for the bits, Mel. I have a hype train. Huzzah! Thank you so much, people. That's so kind of you. Oh, Frumpy! Thank you, Frumpy! This is amazing. My first stream and my first hype train. That is so awesome. I am going to now open up the mild cheddar. It says tear here. I've never been able to tear those, so I always use a knife. And this is just a shredded cheddar. We like mild here over the medium or sharp. You can certainly choose whichever you want. Wow, we're already complete. Andrew, thank you so much for our money. I am going to add in 8 ounces of cheddar cheese here. That's a lot of cheese. And then I'm going to make it worse by adding mozzarella. Oh, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Mel. Long Dark, thank you so much for that, David. You didn't have to do that. Thank you so much. That's so generous. That's amazing, you guys. I never expected this. Thank you so much. I'm now adding the mozzarella. Thank you, Lily, for the sub to Frumpy. You're all getting my first badges here. And as advertisement, can you please call out Long Dark? He is a streamer. Melky Studio is a streamer of the Long Dark as well. And the Frumpy Grumpy, obviously. And Glittered Kitten as well. Glittered Kitten is a Long Dark streamer. She's so active in the community. Oh, thank you, Vet. Thank you so much for the bits. And Glittered Kitten is also an amazing artist for the emotes and other stream type art. And she is busily making my emotes that will be added in here, and my stream badges and the little gold rings that I've got in the bottom. And she's done for other streamers. She's a wonderful person to work with. So if you need something like that and she has the time, give her a call, give her a message. You'll find her in the Long Dark community. You'll find her in Discord if you look for her, and she's just a wonderful person. Her prices are good and her work is outstanding. So, well, thank you for the bits, Glittered Kitten. That is so nice of you all. God, I am just, Vet, thank you so much for the tip, for the gift. I just keep saying it. You guys are just amazing, and I thank each and every one of you so much. And thank you again for the bits, Lily. That is just incredible. Thank you so much. You're an amazing person. I knew it from Connor's streams. And, getting to talk to you about things, you're so sweet. You're so unfailingly supportive and nice and helpful to everybody. It's, yeah, you're, I'm, I'm actually really close to it. Um, I never expected this. I mean, I really didn't even expect people to watch my streams, and the support I've had in both the food and drink community and their unfailing calling me out and for shout outs and giving me personal comments of how much they enjoy my stream, and it's just so overwhelming. Thank you so much. And Vet, oh my God, thank you for the 1,000 bits. Oh, you're an amazing person too. You really are. Oh, thank you, Frumpy. Um, I try to make the food accessible to everybody. I mean, the things I do, they taste really good, but they're not hard to make, and that's the biggest thing. Um, the biggest thing about all of this is that you just have to get in there and try it, and it'll work out. If you make a little mistake like I did and put all of the bacon in here when I was supposed to reserve some of it for the outside of the ball, so it's going to look a little different. It's supposed to have bacon bits and parsley and things like that on the outside, and now it's not going to. um, it'll still taste good. Um, and if you don't tell them, they'll never know. So thank you so much for everybody. I just, I'm very grateful to all of you just for being here. And yes, you did distract me. I, you did distract me, and I just sort of dumped everything in there. But as you can see, this is quite the ball now. This is actually going to make two, or it's going to make a ball the size of a football. Thank you for more bits, Vet. You are you're a wonderful person. You really are, and you encourage us so much to keep on. And I will tell you that all the money that anybody gives us goes directly back into my stream. We're still trying to get equipment, and it is a stubborn stream. Oh, thank you. Thank you, David. I really appreciate that. I kind of feel a bit like a slouch in your stream because you have so many other fabulous mods that are there working their tails off for you. Oh, good grief. Anonymous just gifted 5 tier 1 subscriptions to you, Kazi. I'm going to say Shiron. Waffle Mouse, welcome in. And Simon Sword and MPH. Oh, that is so nice. I have my suspicions who Anonymous is, but I'm guessing that they would deny it if I said it, so I'm not going to. But I know. I know. Fingers here to me, fingers there. I've got my eye on you. I know you're out there. And I thank you so much for the generosity, both to my community I'm trying to grow here, and to me, and to the efforts of my husband, without whom this stream would literally not be possible, since he does all the setting up and all the breaking down, and he's my stream technician, and all I do is sit here and babble on and just, well, talk to you guys. So, at this point, we get out the other cheese ball from the freezer, so I'm going to send my husband out to scamper and do that. And since I had pork on this and on my hands, I am going to have to flip my board so that we do not cross-contaminate. And that is oh, I had cheese on my board. Huh, interesting. I think in honor of 5 My husband is right. In honor of 5 gift subs, you get to see Pink Pig! Pink Pig, dance on screen. Pink Pig, dance on screen. This is one of my many collections of hedgehogs. Um, Gift from my husband. As you see, she has a little pink tutu, and she has a little pink hair bow over one ear. And this is the smaller version. I have a very large version called Dreadpig, who is dark brown and has no fluffiness on the tutu or bow. So obviously that one is a boy. And this is Pink Pig. Pink Pig! I'll stop now. I'm a little bit giddy both from the alcohol and from an almost level 5 hype train. So wow, you guys. That is just amazing. I'm so touched. I really am a true lightweight on this. It's just wow. Um, I am gonna have to actually. What was that? Oh, we got another cheer. Thank you again, honey. I crap. I need a big plate, honey, to roll this thing around in. At this point, I need to get out the walnuts, and I believe I counted it at a half a cup of walnuts to cover the ball, and it's really just a matter of how many you need to cover it. Okay, thank you. And so I will get out a half a cup of walnuts. And these are nice walnuts. I got them from Costco. They don't have any salt on them. And what you do is take and put them, if you have like a chopper, food processor that you can just pulse a few times, it makes it much easier. But we basically take and hand chop these. You don't want them to be, what was that? I can't see. Oh, Anonymous just gave 2 more 5. Oh, wow. 5 more 5 more subs. I can't believe it. Thank you so much. That is so incredibly kind and generous. I just can't even believe that. Thank you so much. And Vet, you gave another gift subscription. Thank you so much. That is amazing. You're all very, you guys are going to make me cry. Keeping your fingers out of the way. Just take a knife and run them across the mass of nuts. Like I said, you can choose pecans if you prefer the taste of pecans. If you can't have tree nuts, go with something else like some parsley. Um, Vet, thank you so much for the gift subscription to The Only Deaf Guy. I am just absolutely amazed by this outpouring. You're all so kind, and all your words of encouragement kept me streaming and are going to continue keeping me streaming at this rate. I'm going to be able to help increase the quality of my stream and hopefully get a second camera up and working and make it so that we have less breakdowns. Thank you, Yukazi, for saying hello. And we completed a level 5. Oh, wow. You guys are amazing. You are so amazing to do that. My very first affiliate stream. Thank you so much for the turnout, for the support, for all your words of encouragement, for those streamers who have shouted me out, and without fail I usually end up picking up another follower from that, and that's awesome. You also spread the word that my food is good and looks tasty. Hey Richard, how are you doing tonight? You are up so early. Or possibly you haven't been to bed yet, but with the time difference and all, I really appreciate you coming in. It's got to be, what, half 2? Something like that. Thank you so much. We did. We got a level 5 hype train. That is just awesome. And again, thank you all for that. Thank you, Anonymous, whoever you are. And I just really appreciate you as my viewers. Now, as you can see, this is kind of a mixed chunk here. You got some bigger pieces. You want to try to make it so they're not really huge. You could really take a shortcut. Thank you, Vet, for giving that subscription to Min. I really appreciate it. I'm sure he does too. Not sure if he's in stream at this time because I found out they don't have to be in stream to get the gift sub. Now what you do is you take your nuts and you put them on a plate because you need to roll your cheese ball on here, and you kind of give it a little shake there to spread it out as much as possible. I'm going to take off the wedding ring because there's nothing more disgusting than cream cheese under your ring. So I'm bringing back out my, oh, it's still very soft. Okay. I am bringing, and a little frozen on the side too. That's cool. I am bringing this out here, and I am giving it sort of a little shape here. I'm probably going to make this into two because really big balls are pretty impressive, but a little bit imposing too. Give this a bit of a further mix to try to even out some of the areas I obviously didn't get to. And I am now going to take my shrimp and ball and take and plunk it into here. And I strongly suggest when you are having solidity issues that you start forming it on the nuts because you can kind of hold it together that way. And this is now very cold but not really stiffened up. And you just give it a roll like this and a bit of a compress. Move the nuts around. I would say probably you're looking half of a cup of nuts to a full cup on this particular ball. It's not really holding a ball shape. You will want to take and solidify this in the refrigerator for at least an hour before you serve it. And you just kind of mush it into a ball shape with your hands. And I'm going to do that. Don't worry if it's not perfect. It's still going to taste good. I should have used more nuts. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out more paper towels. It is a lot of nuts on that ball. I thought you left us, Nog. I am going to get out some more. I'm going to get out some more nuts, which I put down there. I'm just going to pour some on the board. That's a lot of nuts. So I've got that up there. I'm going to take away part of them because I didn't need that much. Cooking is always highly experimental. If the ball had been more solid, did I lose volume again? Badass Mama, can you use non-dairy cream cheese for this recipe instead? Yes, you can. I mentioned that earlier while I was whipping the cream cheese with a spoon, that yes, you can. You can use any of the vegan or vegetarian cream cheese substitutes. Tofutti makes a good one. There's some grocery store brands. Some of them use silken tofu. Some of the vegan ones don't. At least the ones that I've read have. My mother can't have dairy. She's allergic. So thank you, Kazi, for doing the resisting temptation. We all make the world a little holier, if not quite so much fun, when we resist that temptation. So, Tina Bug, welcome in. I'm so glad to see you. We have got quite the thing going here. My supporters turned out en masse, and we managed to complete a level 5 hype train. That was really unexpected and so appreciated, and it's something I'm never going to forget, and I really appreciate that of everybody. So we Yes, you can, to finish answering, you can use a non-dairy cream cheese to make this. I might consider, if you were doing that, adding in some non-dairy yogurt as well, just a little bit to add the extra tang those seem to not have, because yes, I have used them. Uh, I've been wholly or primarily a vegetarian for almost 20 years now. So there's not a lot I haven't tried in the vegetarian, non-dairy, vegan type line. Okay, I have got more nuts here, probably more than I need, but you know what? I can use these always in a different recipe. I make a uh, steel cut oats apple pie oatmeal in the um, crock pot that I put walnuts in, and these would do very well for that. Vet, thank you so much for the subscription to Big Black Wolf. I know he would appreciate it if he was here. I don't know if he's here, but if he is here, I'm sure he will tell you thank you. And I'm going to add more nuts to this and attempt to roll the ball around some more. So as I said, you just push the nuts into the outside of the ball. Try to make it so it's less sticky. Try to make it so that it is ball shaped. Once again, thank you, honey. Nuts to you too. And this is just a measure of keep putting the nuts on it until you have either run out of nuts or you reach the level of nuts you want to coat the thing with. It's not bad to have some of the cream cheese showing through. You want to limit some of it though. So we're almost done with it though here. I'm going to pack it in a little bit more. This is very soft cream cheese. Very, very soft at this point. It's also picking up some moisture from the shrimp, which it will do. So that will also make it soft, which actually isn't necessarily a bad thing. It will make it so, sorry, here we go. It will make it so that what you have is easy to spread on crackers, which is how I'm going to serve it once I finish trying to patch some of the more obvious holes. So, all right, I'm calling this one done and leaving the second one till after stream. And for this, once more, wiping my hands on paper towels to get the sticky cream cheese off. And I've got this very pretty blue plate. You've probably seen its like before in my stream. And now you very carefully pick up your cheese ball, which is more looking like a cheese schlump, and you place it on your plate. It can be football shaped if it wants to be. It seems to really want to go football shaped on me. So I am now going to take that to the side and finish with the press shape here. And then you take this ball and you put it in the refrigerator for an hour at least. You can put tin foil over the top and let it sit overnight if you wish. I wouldn't recommend it for the shrimp because the ball does tend to take on the moisture in the shrimp. So I would put it in for an hour before your party. Let it thaw on the countertop if you've frozen it. And when it comes time to serve, you make it pretty by taking your cocktail sauce And you just very gently try to make pretty crisscrosses across the top of it. Of course, that's not cooperating with me either this time. So we're just going to make a little hash mark here. Not pretty in effect. Sorry. Kind of looks like I just blobbed it with ketchup. I'm going to neaten it up just ever so slightly for pictures, which my husband and I'm going to use. I'm going to be a little more appropriate and use a spoon instead of the end of my finger. And I'm going to make the design a little bit prettier on it. Try to connect the dots. If you have a finer spout on your sauce, that's great. If not, you can always get, for about $1, a squeeze bottle from um, Walmart or someplace like that. And it's just like you find it's just like you find in fast food restaurants where they have the um, squeeze bottles of ketchup, and you just put your cocktail sauce in that, and you can draw pretty designs instead of plumping like this was. Give that to my husband so that he could photograph it. You'll want to take a Triscuit, honey, so that, actually, why don't you give me a Triscuit and I'll do it for you. 2 Triscuits, because one's going to stay on the plate and one's going to be in my mouth. I like this with Triscuits. It's also good with, what do we call them? Like Hi-Hos or Ritz crackers. They are especially nice with celery too. So we have the cheese ball here. I'm going to take a little bit of the corner out of it here so that I've got everything on the Triscuit. And we've got it here. Do you want to taste some, honey? I'm going to take a little bit more out for my husband so that he can taste it. There you go, sweetheart. And although it's kind of spoils the pretty appearance of the thing. What do you think? Well, is it icky? His opinion was he's not sure what he thinks about it. He's never had something like this before. So here we have my bite. Mm. Sorry, a bit bigger of a bite than I intended. It is creamy. You can definitely taste the shrimp. The crunch of the nuts is nice. And the crackers go very well with it. I'm using the hint of salt one. And you can add another couple crackers around it just to be pretty. And that is the shrimp ball. And I am now going to take, and this can go away for now. And I am going to bring back my shrimp ball plate that I used for the audio back now. Hello, hello. Okay, so I am now taking the shrimp ball plate and putting the coating on for what I am going to put on uh, the ham and cheese ball. So that's not going to be nuts, so please ignore the nuts on the board here. It is going to be, should have been some bacon, finely chopped up, but I kind of pooched that one. And so I am going to add a teaspoon of the poppy seeds and a lot more of the parsley than I was originally going to do. Tablespoon and a half or two is what it calls for. I am going to add 3 because we have no bacon. And again, I'm sorry, we have no bacon. And then I just mix this up together. You're not really going to see the color of the poppy seeds from here. And here is the other ball. That is going to dwarf the plate, so I'm going to cut it in half. And this had much firmer ingredients, so the moisture did not climb into the cream cheese. And I can pretty much just take the whole thing out like this. This is half of it because it's a very large cheese ball. And you want to take and plunk it into what you're going to coat it in. And this has ham and bacon, mozzarella cheese instead of Swiss because my husband hates Swiss cheese. And it also has parsley, green onions, and poppy seeds in it. And like I said, again, this really should have had bacon on the outside too. It's much prettier that way. Still gonna taste nice. And yep, the green onions is in there. I put ham in it because I didn't have quite as much bacon as I wanted. And I got all flustered and dumped all the bacon into the cheese ball. So, and as you can see, this is holding shape much better than the shrimp ball did. So, longer refrigeration before you make a ball out of it is really necessary with the shrimp ball. Not so much with this one. If we had had 16 ounces instead of 12 of the shrimp, that probably would have helped firm it up a little bit as well. So, still tastes nice, but it's not quite so full of itself. Now, I'm not going to be able to taste this one because it has pork in it, but my husband can come out and taste this one as well. As you can see, it makes a really nice little ball, very easy to put together and pack in. And I'm going to first wipe this off my hands. And then, after wiping it off my hands as much as I can, I'm going to use a hand cleaner and wash the pork off of myself. Because pork, while delicious, is a killer for me. So, nice firm ball, yes, very much. It's got, you could also add some, if you wanted to add more cheese to it, you could also add some Parmesan. Some grated Parmesan would go very well with this as well. So, all right, now I have got the last plate here. You're going to need to get some crackers, honey, and I plunk the much firmer cheese ball into the middle of that plate. And that will go right here. Yeah, why don't we add one of each? You can taste them with each cracker then. And I'll put a couple on here for picture purposes. And this time he is getting out some Ritz crackers because he feels snazzy. So we've got to give me a third one too. Give me a third one too if that's the one you want to use to taste it. And I'm going to use a spoon on this. Can you take that somewhere? There we go. Nope, I'm going to use one of our knives. It seems nicer to use a knife. So I'm going to take and cut a little bit out of this. And I'm going to serve that on a Ritz cracker for picture purposes. Right there. Pink Pig is trying to creep into frame here. Pink Pig! Yeah, you could use a ham substitute. You could use turkey bacon. You could use, you know, the tofu version if you want. Whatever it is you'd like to use, feel free. Substitute in. You can obviously use vegan cheeses. And all right, husband, here is your Ritz cracker to give it a try. He said, bacon. Tasty? He said it's creamy with the cheeses. It's got a nice bacon flavor in there as well. And can you taste the ham? And he can also taste the ham. So I believe that's a win-win. He's never had this kind of appetizer before. I don't think. He says he wasn't born in the 60s, didn't get raised in the 70s like I did, so cheese balls are not as popular as they were back in the way beyond days. I am going to put these two cheese bits down here so that everybody can see them in the photograph. And to recap, the recipes that I have had here today and any stream I have streamed are available in my Discord, and they're under stream recipes. Yeah, I've seen that. Seventh-day Adventist shops are popped up if you do a search for that. They have a lot of alternative meats that, well, they're alternative to meats, and they include things like pepperoni and sausages, and I've even found vegan corned beef that was really pretty good. Um, so today I made you my raw eggnog, and you will find the recipes slightly altered from the way I actually did them because of stuff that comes up. You will find the recipes for the ham and cheese ball and for the shrimp ball. And that does it for this stream. Upcoming, among some of the things I will be teaching people to make will be a chicken parm sub and an eggplant parm sub. Those will be upcoming. Yes, we will put that into the equipment link in uh, my Discord. You'll find it under equipment, and oh, it's already under there already. So if you go check the Discord, it'll be there. I'm going to take another sip of my excellent eggnog, spiked with Jack Daniels. And I'm going to say the next time I stream will be on Saturday. and I'll have to see what it is I feel like making at the time. I'll let you know later. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming to stream. Thank you so much for the subscriptions. Thank you for the gift subscriptions, all of the bits. Thank you for a level 5 hype train complete. That was out of sight. And my fondest wish is that all of you will find a way to use my recipes and make your own happy memories with them for the holidays and for your families. Now, who do we have that we can go to? Uh, I don't see any cooking streamers on there, so instead I am gonna raid the Babaganator. He is a streamer of the Long Dark. He is doing the tournament from Chef Maria, and oh no, he's done with his on that, but he's still streaming the Long Dark, and for those of us who are addicted, he'll give you your fix. Thank you all so much for coming. I love you all.